Hello YouTubers, how are you today? This is your driver Scott. So today what I want to talk about is basically, one of the things I love about the job is that I get to meet a lot of different people and we get to talk about a lot of different things. There are two subjects though, however, that I try to steer clear from as much as possible. That's religion and politics. I sort of think about, when a passenger gets into my car, along the lines of it's a first date, and when you're on a first date, there's a lot happening there. There's a lot of dynamics. A lot of times you're kind of nervous. Is this person going to like me? Whatever the situation may be. You don't want to add something that's volatile to the mix, like, religion or politics. You could deal with that on a second date. Now, sometimes, you hit it off with the person just right, and you just go with it. If it happens, it happens. But for the most part, I generally try to steer away from it. And what I want to do is I want to tell you a story today. It's probably not that funny, but this happened the morning after Trump's first State of the Union address. And I'm out there driving, and I get a call, and I pick this guy up, and he's bouncing off the walls. I could just tell he's having a great morning so far, right? And I generally say, hi, how's everything? How's your day going so far? That kind of thing. And he was telling me how great he felt, and then he said, "Did you see Trump's State of the Union address?" And quite honestly, I was working. All right, number one. Number two, even if I wasn't, I probably wouldn't have watched it anyway. And I said to him, "No, I didn't watch it." And he goes, "Oh, what are you, anti-Trump?" And right away, I knew that this ride could go really bad if I didn't handle this the right way. So what I did was I said, "Well, sir, I kind of knew what Trump was going to say, which is why I didn't watch it." I said, "Let me guess. He said that the stock market's the highest that it's ever been. Am I right?" And he said, "Yes." I go, "Well, there's a reason for that." He goes, "Yeah, because it's true." And I said, "Well, yeah, it is true." I said, "But have you ever looked at the history of the stock market?" And he said, "No." Now, I want to tell you something that I'm always kind of surprised that I have to explain this to people, even those that I already consider intelligent. Those that I don't consider intelligent, I get why I may have to explain it to them. But those that I consider intelligent, I have to explain this to them, it always kind of confuses me, because I'm thinking, if you're intelligent, you should be able to think your way through this. But it doesn't always work that way, because politics is a very passionate, people feel passion for it. So, they believe what they believe, and they're surprised when somebody can't see it their way, that kind of whole thing. And again, I want to steer clear of that stuff. So I asked him if he has ever looked at the history of the stock market, and he said no. And the first time I told him, the first time I looked at it was during Clinton's administration, because I had noticed up until that point, since I've been alive and started listening to presidents, every single one of them has said the stock market is higher than it's ever been. And I keep wondering, well, how is that true? Because you have one person with these kind of policies and another person with these kind of policies. Is it true that the stock market's always going up? And yeah, if you look at the history of the stock market, it kind of goes like this, right? It has its ups and downs. Sometimes it has a lot of ups, sometimes it has a lot of downs, but it has its ups and downs. And if you look at the history of it, it's on an incline like this. It's 13% on average through the history of the stock market. You just follow it. And you'll see that it's 13%. It goes up. It doesn't matter who's in office. You may have some guys like when the stock market crashed during Hoover's administration, he was known as the do-nothing president. But he really came from an engineering background. And what he tried to do is he tried to engineer the stock market. He tried to make it, he tried to fix it, in other words, instead of letting it correct itself. Then there are people arguing about FDR and whether he fixed it or didn't fix it. I'm kind of the belief that if he just undid Hoover, whatever Hoover did, the market would have fixed itself probably a lot faster. But his policies were very popular with the people, so I could see why a politician would do that. In either case, it goes up every presidency, pretty much since the beginning of the stock market. We can go back as far as George Bush, which really isn't that long ago, but for some people it's brand new. And during his presidency, it's higher than it was over Clinton. And then it crashed. We had the recession, the Great Recession. And then, when Obama came in, it was still correcting itself during the recession, and then it went up. And during Obama's administration, it was higher than it was during Bush's administration. And it never really crashed since then. So when Trump took it over, it just continued the same spiral going up. And the stock market is run by fear and greed. It's not run by the policies of the president. A president can interfere with it, absolutely, but how it's run is by fear and greed. People are buying and trading because they want to make money. That's what's running the stock market. So anyway, I looked at the time. When I was driving with this particular individual, I was looking at the time, and I knew that by the time I got through with this spiel about the history of the stock market and how no president really affects it, that we would be at our destination, and we couldn't really go any further than that. So that's kind of what I did. I kind of went through what I just went through with you and explained to them about the history of the stock market. I didn't say anything about the intelligence part, where I'm surprised I have to explain it to people, because some people may be insulted by that. But what I did explain was that, the stock market, if you look at the history of it, each president has been saying it's higher than it ever was. And they're correct, because it's constantly going up. It's on a 13% incline, going up. So that's one of the reasons, I think the ride went well. The guy seemed to be happy when we got to the end there. I didn't get any negative comments. I didn't get a lowering of my rating. So I think it worked out fine, where I steered it away from politics and just kind of worked in the history of the stock market. And that's kind of what I try to do almost every single time somebody gets in the car and brings up politics. I try to just veer away and start talking about something else, kind of related to what they're saying, but not politics in general. Because with politics, it's mudslinging back and forth, and who's right and who's wrong. And, as far as I'm concerned, everyone's opinion is correct. You can't have a wrong opinion, because it's an opinion. You can have facts that are behind the opinion being wrong. And let's say you come up to me and you say, James Madison was the greatest president that ever existed in the United States of America. That's your opinion. I'll say, oh, okay, no problem. And when they go, the reason I think that James Madison is the greatest president in the history of the United States is because 2 + 2 = 5. Now, that's kind of a ridiculous example, but I'll sit there and go, whoa, wait a minute. 2 + 2 doesn't actually equal 5. 2 + 2 = 4. And I'll correct the person's facts that they have. Their opinion can remain, but if your facts is wrong, Now, unless your logic there's a leap in logic that's faulty, I'll just sit there and focus on, no, 2 + 2 actually equals 4. It doesn't equal 5. And then, of course, people dig their heels in and, get defensive and start going on the attack right away. I try to avoid all that. Debates, to me, doesn't prove that you're right. It just proves that you can actually debate. So I just kind of leave it alone as much as possible. I steer clear from it. Anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to tell you today. I wanted to talk to you about. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, hit that notification button so you'll keep getting notifications that I'm posting a new video. All of that helps with the algorithm. I've had people say to me, "Oh, I hope you're making a lot of money while doing these videos. They're so funny, they're good." Well, no, you gotta help the algorithm. You gotta get more subscribers in there. You gotta get more likes in there. Comment too below. Let me know. Tell me what you think. Should you talk about politics when you're driving with somebody for a short distance, or should you just leave it alone? There's so many other things you can talk about. But I'd like to hear your comments. Let me know down below. Also, below this video, in the description box, there's some links. If you want to make some extra part-time money, you want to, you have an Uber app, but you don't have the Lyft app as a passenger, you can download the Lyft app. You can price compare between the two and see which one's cheaper before you actually order the car. the driver to come to you. There's also another app down there. I'm giving you a link to another website where you can hire your favorite Uber driver or Lyft driver, either one. Anyway, please let me know if you like it. Please like, subscribe, comment, share it. Let it get out there, and take a look at the links below. And this is your driver, Scott. Have a great day.